Hi, welcome. My name's Irene Cook. I am the owner and founder of Get You Fit Fitness and Nutrition. This is a recording. The live presentation last night was unable to be recorded. So thank you so much for those of you that did attend last night. So I'm going to go through what we talked about last night. And I told them last night I had a really hard time with the title of today's topic. And today's topic is managing menopause, symptoms of menopause naturally, holistically. So first off, the word holistic oftentimes bugs people out, scares people. So I want to make very clear what that means is drugless, non-medical, using natural forms. So that's the first thing. Secondly, symptoms of menopause. I'm not going to just talk about symptoms of menopause. I'm going to talk about just symptoms. What is a symptom? We are plagued constantly with symptoms. I hear it all day long. People are constantly complaining of they're bloated. I'm unable to lose weight. I have headaches. I'm swollen. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And what we do is we ignore these symptoms, or we mask them, or we self-medicate. And what this does is it perpetuates the problem. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to talk about today's presentation. And yes, I am going to kind of pull in menopause because there's a lot of you that are suffering. There's a lot of you that are confused. There's a lot of misinformation out there. And I want to clarify the information, and I want to be able to kind of set the tone for what I've learned over the last few years. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, so what is a symptom? All right, let's talk about this. What is a symptom? Well, a symptom is an indication of an underlying disease or condition. We don't think about that. We have a headache. There's a condition there. We're bloated. There's a condition there. It's a disease or it's a condition. A condition may turn into a disease. It's subjective, meaning it is experienced internally by a person, and it may not be observable by others. We all have different levels of adaptive reserve. I may feel headaches. Other people may have the same level of pain sensation in their head and not feel that same symptom. Somebody may be bloated. Somebody else of a different body size may not notice that bloat or water retention. Okay, so how do we treat these symptoms naturally? Because more often than not, we don't. We medicate and we self-medicate. And these medications and these self-medications, of course, have symptoms. So since the topic tonight is menopause, I do want to kind of not lose sight of this, because menopause is a stage of life, and it does mean the pause of the menstrual cycle. And premenopause is the stage that comes before that. This is when the menstrual cycle starts to pause. Okay, and when this happens, the hormone levels start to go out of whack. They start to decrease in production. And this will happen in the 30s and 50s, somewhere in between the 30s and 50s, as early as the 30s and 50s. Big side effect, big symptom of this is irregular periods. That right there is the biggest indicator, because if there's no egg, there's no period. And that is the first indicator that no egg, no estrogen, less progesterone. And that is really the bottom line. You know, all of you that are like, I'm going to go get my levels checked. And my doctor says that I'm premenopausal or menopausal. Okay, now what? Now what are you going to do? Right? That is just a definition for you are no longer making these hormones because there's no egg. Okay, now I am going to go through and discuss this, but before I do that, I do want to let you know that I am qualified. I do know what I'm talking about. My credentials are from the Institute of Integrative Education, Nutrition. I do know how to speak. I do hold credentials from the Expert Coach Center, which really is one of my favorite certifications, because that one there really helps me get people to realize stages of change, stages of denial, stages of wanting to pursue reaching goals. And then, of course, my functional diagnostic nutrition certification, which is the one that enabled me to understand all of this amazing knowledge today. And the reason I threw in the slide of make the freaking chicken is because I never want to lose sight of what I'm really good at, and that is putting together my meal plans. And tonight we have a special guest. Well, last night we had a special guest, so I'm going to speak for her today. And that her name is Anne Wayne, and she is a professional chef, and she will be doing a live cooking demonstration, well, really hands-on cooking demo for anybody that's interested in the Barrington area. And I'll be talking about that a little bit later. All right, so what are we going to talk about during this presentation? Well, I kind of want to talk about the Get You Fit evolution 1 year later. Those of you that have been with me know that we are 1 year from the launch of the website that was supposed to happen in 8 weeks. So I want to kind of address where we are with all of that, and what the memberships look like today. Upcoming events, my next webinar is, and the cooking event that I just talked about. And then we're going to get into the nitty gritty, identifying hormones and imbalances, and understanding the pause. And then, of course, the diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, and supplements, because that is always a factor in how we are going to eliminate these issues. And then barriers. What are the barriers? What are the things that are causing us to have these symptoms and making menopause harder on us, and why? All right, so first off, I dug up this slide, you guys, this one here, the one that has timeline and expectations. Oh my gosh. I remember sitting here doing the same presentation, so excited that it was only going to be 8 weeks. And boy, the good news is that as rough of a year as it was, we got through it. I won't get into the depth of it all, but everything happens for a reason. And the program now is polished up and shined up, and it's a well-oiled machine. If you are not a member, it is a amazing program. You start as a tier 1 member with no strings attached. If you want to stay, you are in for another 3 months at tier 2 at a reduced cost. And then again at tier 3. Once you're tier 3, it drops drastically, because once you're an Infinity member, then at tier 3 you're eligible. It's only $150 a year to stay as an Infinity member. But then I have the Infinity Plus. Infinity Plus members get to meet me once a month for a half hour, and that's priceless. So if you are interested, if you're an Infinity member, you want to upgrade to the Plus, let me know. You do get a 20% discount of the lab work. All right, so professional chef Anne Wayne. joined us last night. She talked about what she's going to do. There's a location in Barrington. This is all going to be in the email, in the newsletter. And she's going to we're going to pick 3 Get You Fit meals together, her and I, and all registrants, all participants that will come and join us on Wednesday, May 8th, will get to actually hands-on learn how to cook these meals, and is going to teach us. It is an actual cooking class. So you're going to learn how to put these Get You Fit meals together. The cost is $75, but that includes the meal, and you get to eat it. And depending on how many people sign up, I believe that there is a cap, and that your fee includes your meal and the leftovers. So more on that. So I'm super excited about that. All right. So menopause myth, right? You think of menopause, you think of us, right? Beautiful older woman. But the reality is, this is the reality. This is the reality. It's starting earlier and earlier. And I'm going to explain why it's starting earlier and earlier. But this is impacting all of us females, and really men. I had a couple of my male clients say, I'm going to sit this one out. And hopefully you guys are watching, because it impacts you, because it does impact your with all ladies in your life. So you kind of understand this cycle, but also you're going to see that this has to do with the male productive cycle as well, because men need estrogen. They need testosterone as well. And all of these factors are going to impact you as well. Not as much as somebody in menopause, but I will lay that all out, as you will see. All right. So first of all, I feel very compelled to explain this all, because as I run labs for people, I always ask, do you understand what estrogen is for? Do you understand the relationship between estrogen and progesterone? And I asked them last night when we were live, and no one understood, right? So think of estrogen as the stage manager, right? Estrogen's like almost kind of like the teacher, the mom maybe, or the dad. It could be the dad, the mom or dad, calling the shots. But I said the mom because the estrogen's calling the shots for the monthly cycle. Estrogen is in charge to be ready to be pregnant every month. That is her only job. That's her only job. It's the only thing she cares about. It's her sole and only purpose. So every month, estrogen is getting the body ready for pregnancy. And so she is distributing estrogen throughout the body. And I'm going to explain what estrogen does. But estrogen is almost kind of like I kind of call it like the peacock hormone, because it makes women very attractive, to the male, because estrogen is also the hormone that once we lose the estrogen, we also lose the things that we end up spending a lot of money on when we get older, like eyelashes, our breasts kind of, lose their density, and not the density, but I guess their perkiness, I'll say that. This is when our skin starts to sag. A lot of the features that you see in cartoons that artists will throw on a character to make them look feminine dissipate when we lose estrogen, including sex drive, vaginal dryness. There's no eggs, there's no baby, there's no reason to get pregnant. There's no stage manager. She's done. I mean, you guys, she's been passing out eggs. She has been passing out eggs for, I don't know. I mean, most women will start their period at, 12, 13 and go sometimes 50. She is tired. She's tired. She's done. Okay. So that is her job. All right, so every month estrogen. Now, there's another hormone, and that is the progesterone. The progesterone is like the security guard, and the progesterone is there to protect. If the egg gets released, and usually there is an egg that gets released each month, and if it gets fertilized, the progesterone helps create that safe environment for that embryo, so that it can get protected and nestled inside there. Okay. So estrogen and progesterone have like a reciprocal kind of relationship. Okay. So when estrogen's the stage manager, when she feels that that egg's on its way, she's going to call for that progesterone, egg is coming, right? Progesterone is on a rise, egg comes out, there's no fertilization, progesterone drops. There's no fertilization, the uterine lining builds up, we get our period, right? Well, if there is fertilization, then the progesterone has to keep going. It's got to protect, right? So this is kind of how the hormones all work, so that you have an idea. Well, as much as women are just so excited to have that last menstrual period, because we're just so tired of dealing with the curse or the friend or the whatever we call it. We also then aren't making these two hormones, because there's no need for them anymore. No egg, no estrogen, no progesterone. So if you're following me, in addition to, now we're going to have some health problems, and I'm going to show you what those are. My peacock rule that I talked about, and again, beautiful. Aging is beautiful. There's nothing more beautiful than this, right? I mean, look at the lady in the background, just so sweet. But our lashes literally will curl under. Once you lose, you start, ladies, you probably notice, vaginal dryness, the Beyonce booty is all of it, right? So that's estrogen. That's estrogen. And we always want to go estrogen, there's estrogen patches, there's estrogen pills, there's estrogen, estrogen, that is bioavailable, meaning, it's given to your body and your body makes it available, is not always healthy. There's tons of studies that will show that this can be linked to cancers, and it certainly causes havoc on your digestive and your absorption, your gut health. Okay. So what happens? Okay. So if you're somebody that's like, well, I don't care, I'm done having kids. I don't need to have my, pretty lashes and I'm good. Well, this is what happens. Vaginal health. Okay. You thinning tissues, decreased elasticity, of course. That also goes with urinary tract infections galore and declined libido. Bone density drops. Those of you that are runners that don't get a period, your bone density is at an insane low risk for osteoporosis. Ladies, you hear grandma that fell, that broke her hip. She didn't fall. Her hip actually broke, like broke, and then she fell. That is lack of estrogen. Sleep disturbances, constantly getting up, hot flashes, night sweats, constantly tired. And then of course the favorite, metabolic changes. How is your body storing fat? Low estrogen is a huge indicator of metabolic chaos, blood sugar issues. And of course, we all know women gain weight at this time. So what are you going to do? Are you going to now take bioavailable, bioidentical estrogen? Again, expensive. You have risks. And do they work? All of these products, and I can tell you, I've read the studies, I've seen the studies, you have to apply them in certain spots. You have to be very diligent with these creams, and actually patches are truly the only thing that recent studies have shown work, but even that have side effects. Okay. So emotional changes, mood swings, fluctuations in hormones, anxiety, depression. Did you ever notice, older people in general are ornery? Just all of a sudden, grandma's snappy. That is that irritability. That is your GABA receptor. That is a true deficiency. Changes in cognitive function, of course, brain fog, difficulty concentrate, memory lapses, body image concerns that come with all of this. Okay, so fun stuff. So no, you don't want to deal with it. Why deal with it? Am I scaring you? Because now you're like, oh gosh. and she says, I can't take anything. But I want to, before I go on and tell you the good news, is there are also things that can impact your health deeper, and that is your reproductive system, of course. The estrogen contributes to the development of your breast tissue, cardiovascular health. Low estrogen, your cholesterol will shoot up. It supports vital heart function, brain function. This includes inflammation. You want to make sure that your estrogens are intact, because otherwise your inflammatory effect is going to skyrocket. And with that comes the brain fog. And then, of course, decreased muscle mass ties in with the bone density. Okay. So, all right, back to the typical treatments. I touched upon this a little bit. What do we do? What do we do? My friend told me to get this estrogen cream on Amazon, and I looked at the reviews and it says it doesn't cause cancer. Have you looked? Can you now Google the cancer rates in the United States for me? That's what we don't do. Okay. We pill pop. We do what our neighbors' friends tell us to do, but we don't look at the facts. Alcohol, just alcohol in itself, is the number one leading cause of cancer. And I will let you look that up for yourself. And we don't look at that. We are masking one problem with another. And all of this is impeding our hormone production. But like I mentioned, and what does this have to do with symptoms? This has a lot to do with symptoms, because you are all complaining about menopause slapping you in the face. And I'm using those words because that is what I hear day in, day out. Can you help me? Menopause is slapping me in the face. This is so hard. Then change the way that you are coping with it. Calling you out. Calling you out. Calling you out. Those of you that watched the presentation last night, tell me, is this not like a zillion times better? I told you, I worked so hard to put the slides together and it was a complete bomb. But all right, so sailing through this can be symptom-free. Symptom-free. All you got to do is dress better. That's all you got to do as I take off my jacket. Calling you out. Calling you out. You guys know me. I'm turning 54 years old this year. I've had my health problems. I have a plethora of autoimmune diseases and then some. And they all stemmed from symptoms that I ignored. I self-medicated plenty. And you know what's interesting is, now that I have come clean about it, now that I've told people that I fell into the same trap that everyone else fell into, I more and more have people that are coming to me saying, you know what, I started vaping too. Can you help me? Can you help me stop drinking? Because we all fall into that trap. We're little kids again. We're back in fifth grade. We're back in fifth grade, and we're too afraid to tell our friends that we want to be advocates for our health. And there's nothing wrong with doing that, because it's a gazillion dollar industry. And I'm not saying not to have a drink, and I'm not saying not to pop a pill if you have a headache. But what I am saying is, if you're here watching this and you are struggling with your weight, or you are struggling with symptoms of menopause, you have inflammation, you are having digestive issues, but you are not doing the following, then I'm calling you out. Okay. And I'm gonna get to that next. So how does this tie into menopause? You might be asking. You're like, Irene, you just went like left field. Well, it does a lot, because our hormones don't just come from our ovaries, gals and guys. Our estrogen production comes from our ovaries, yes, but also from our adrenals. And if you don't know where your adrenals are, right here, we have two, right over, sitting right there on top of our kidneys. Okay. And I know you can't see my little hormone cascade, but please go back and watch my presentation that I did on cortisol, or open that up so that you can see it bigger. But that shows exactly what pumps out of those adrenal glands. What pumps out is cortisol and DHEA. DHEA is our growth hormone that then converts to the androgens, that then convert to the testosterones, that then convert to the estrogens. So gals, those of you that are in menopause or premenopause, your eggs are gone. It is what it is. Be happy. Shark Week is over for good. But you can still produce your own estrogens right there. You can. You absolutely can. And that is why some women get through this stage flawlessly. It does not come without work. And it does not come without time. And the reason that I'm showing this is I can often guess without a test. I've run over 200 labs in the last year. I can guess sometimes with symptoms. But I recently ran a lab on a gal that I've been working with for 6 months. And although a lot of the supplements that I did put her on were in alignment to the results of her lab, there were a few markers that blew me away. And one of them was inflammation. So if you have inflammation, and now your body is now, in addition, not kicking out those eggs, your adrenals are too busy putting out that fire to make any estrogen. And if you're not making any estrogen, then we're going to go back to that slide, a few slides back. Remember that laundry list of things? That's you. Okay, does that all make sense? Now let's fix this. Let's take somebody that understands what's going on with their body, and they don't have gut issues. They don't have gut dysbiosis, which means the green area here, if you can see the green area, this means that there is inflammation and there is permeability issues here, where nutrients are not being absorbed and particles and bacteria are going into the environment of the gut that shouldn't be. This person here isn't making the estrogens that they should. Gut overgrowth, good bacteria, bad bacteria. I only put 2 on this slide. There are over a billion bacteria in our gut. I just ran a GI map on somebody who has been to several doctors trying to figure out the issue, and I found so many abnormal patterns of bacterial overgrowth in her gut. And then the big one, of course, is lifestyle and liver dysfunction. Processed foods, infections, illnesses, smoking, alcohol intake, coffee is okay in moderation, but many coffee drinkers don't follow that moderation rule. Energy drinks, poor nutrition, and then just environmental toxins. So this is probably the biggest one of all, the liver function. So if your liver is too busy breaking down things, then it's not going to make those estrogens. So do you see how that is such a factor? So if you have a healthy person that doesn't have those factors, then they're able to kick out those estrogens without their ovaries. Okay. All right. So dress better. Diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction supplements. You're going to hear that from me nonstop. Dress better. Dress better. Don't tell me you're dressing better by I'm eating your meals, Irene. What are you eating in between my meals? And what are you drinking on the weekends? Because you could dress beautifully, you could take those supplements, you could exercise all you want. But if you're a 7 drink a night girl on the weekends, check your dress. Check your dress, man. That's right. Check your dress. Because that's what it boils down to. And every single one of you that has done this knows. All right, so determining factors. So now we know hormones, stress, because that's the other one I didn't talk about. That's in the cortisol presentation. You could have a healthy gut, you could have a healthy liver, you could have no parasites, no bacteria, live in a bubble. But if you're running 100 miles a week in your bubble and your body is interpreting that as a stressor, determining factor, right? Liver health, lifestyle, and then the biggest one, action. Are you taking action? Are you following through? Are you doing the dress? Many people buy the dress, but they don't put it on. They buy it. They have the exercise pros. They have the supplements. They don't take them all the time or the right way. Do you see the difference? It's kind of like that pseudo diet, Sebastian person. Remember, are you on a diet? Do you think you are? It's the same thing. So allow your body to make the hormones. And guys, same thing for you, right? It works the same way. You just don't have those estrogens. If you're losing hair, testosterone production works the same way. And then, of course, there are supplements that will uptick your body's ability to make more of that DHEA, and we've talked about that. All right, so hope you loved this. Hope it was informative. Next, in 2 weeks, gut health. Yeah. I'm going to get really into the nitty gritty. I'm going to pull out those parasites and really talk about what a GI map is and what gut issues, what gut permeability really is. It's going to be great. I'm going to talk poop. Earth Day. You guys, Earth Day is at Veterans Acres, Crystal Lake, April 20th. It's a 5-mile loop. You could do 1 loop. You could do 3 loops for 15. You could do 6 loops for a 50K, which is 30 miles. I am signed up for the 50K. I have several people doing the 15-mile, and I have several, even more, dozens of people. Now I have several people doing the 5-mile. Many are walking. If you're interested, look it up. Earth Day Earth Day race. I'm going to put it in the notes, and I have a coupon code, OMR Irene. Will save you 10%. And then, of course, check out the May 8th live cooking event. All right. Thanks, you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this. Talk to you soon.